So remember, when you are making an ionic compound, how do you come up with the right formula? Well, you know how to determine the charges of group number -8. So nitrogen is in group 5A, 5A minus 8, you get -3. Magnesium is in group 2A. So the charge is the same as group number for metals, so +2. Then remember, when we have an ionic compound, the charges must add up to be 0. So how about taking the charge, drop and switch? So drop it and switch it. So -3 becomes coefficient, becomes subscription for magnesium. +2 becomes number of nitrogen. So can I say the formula is Mg3N2? That's the correct formula. Why? Because all the charges add up to be 0. That is how you make a compound. In other words, if I have 2 nitrogens and every nitrogen is -3, do I get total of -6 for 2 nitrogens? And I have got 3 magnesium, and each magnesium has +2 charge, we get +6. So +6 -6 add up to be 0. So that's the correct formula. So let's see. I think, is Al2O3 correct or not? Let's check. +3 for aluminum is in group 3A. That's how I know the charge is +3. Look at periodic number. Oxygen is in group 6, 6A. And if you write 6A -8, do you get -2? The charge of oxygen is -2. And you have 3 of oxygen, so 3 times -2, -6. You have 3 aluminum, 2 aluminum, so +3 is the charge, and you have got 2, you get +6. Do they add up to be 0? Well, calcium bromide. So do you see -6 and +6 add up to be 0? Is the formula of calcium bromide correct? Yes, calcium is +2, it's in group 2A. Barium is in group 7A. 7 minus 8 is -1. And you have got 2 -1, -2. And you have got 1 + 2. These two add up together to be 0. So that is the correct formula for this ionic compound. How about sodium carbonate? Do you see there is sodium is in group 1A, the charge is +1. And there is 2 of them, total charges of 2 sodium +2. If you look at the polyatomic table, polyatomic ion table, you get -2 for carbonate. So can I say -2 for 1 carbonate and 2 + 1 sodium + 2, they add up to be 0. So that is the correct formula. So correct formula are obtained by figuring out the positive and negative charges of the ions, drop and switch, then you get the right formula. So this is the polyatomic ion. You don't have to memorize it. It's your exam table. It's in the book. Ammonium ion has +1 charge, carbonate -2, bicarbonate -1, and chlorate -1, dichromate -2, chromate -2. So use these from your book or exam table so you have an idea about these formulas. So how do you know ionic compound? Often they are metals, because metals have positive charge and non-metals have negative charge. Is there an exception? Right, if I say ammonium chloride, the positive charge is a polyatomic ion, which is not a metallic ion, a negative charge. But generally, when we write in ionic compound, what comes first is positive charge. We start with being positive, and then we write negative. So barium chloride, metal comes first because it's positive, non-metal next. And potassium oxide, metals first with positive charge, then negatively charged, non-metals. And potassium oxide, magnesium hydroxide, magnesium has +2 charge. Positive comes first, metal first, negative, non-metals, negative charge. They come next. Magnesium hydroxide. Potassium nitrate, potassium, metals with +1 charge. It's a positively charged ion comes first, then negative nitrate. Nitrate has -1 charge. Potassium nitrate. So for transition metals, guys, because iron, we can have 2 different salts of iron. We can have FeCl3 or FeCl2. Because these are different and they have different properties, I mass identify them. I determine the charge of iron by looking at partners. Every chlorine is -1. We have 2 chlorine, 2 times -1 is -2. So the charge of iron is +2. So can I call this iron 2 chloride? But in here, I have 3 chlorine, so 3 -1 charge, -3 for chloride. So the charge of iron must be +3, which is added to -3 to be 0. So I'm going to call this iron 3 chloride. Again, this is a review of what we have had before. So it looks like our time is over. I hope you accept my sincere apology for having a technology issue. I'm going to, from now on, every time I start, before I start, I'm going to restart my computer to make sure it doesn't play all these funny games on us. Do you have any question before we go? Anybody?
No, but thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad somebody talked. I didn't know if you are there or not. Thank you, guys. By the way, you might be asking how I use the extra point for attendance. So I collect a list which tells me what is the name of attendance, what time what date they logged in, and how long they stayed on the Zoom. So somebody last time had to stay 2 minutes, and somebody was staying the full time. So I add all these minutes together at the end of semester, and based on total time of attendance, you're going to get the extra point.